Yo, 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 wagwan, wagadawan. It's your boy, Jay Dizzle.
Alright, Jamie, and it's Lewis, bro.
You're such a party pooper. Yeah, this is the first ever episode. Third episode.
Fourth episode.
First, I've lost count already. Welcome to the first ever fourth episode of Whoniverse. Dum de 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 dum. My voice broke. I hit puberty in the middle.
Very nice.
So this week, Brian thought he feels his wedding is more important than Doctor Who. He won't be joining us next week for that very reason. But then I let Lewis come back and he said, "My daughter's more important than Doctor Who."
That's just the standard, isn't it?
Is that what parenthood's like?
That's exactly what parents are.
It's about what
like. You've got that coming anyway. So
in a couple of months' time, I'm going to be Papa Whovian.
The Whovian Papa.
Yeah, Papa. Yes, Rory.
Yes, to be named.
What have you been up to? Anything Doctor Who related?
Yeah, I've watched a few episodes. You know, I saw Capaldi's debut episode, not the regeneration episode, you know, but the first full feature-length episode that he was in. To be fair, I hadn't seen it in a good amount of time, and I think I only watched it once in the initially, and I enjoyed it. You know, it wasn't the best episode, you know, but between a giant dinosaur in the middle of London and him actually actively mugging a tramp, it seemed like quite a fun episode to get into.
He was definitely the most violent Doctor when you remember when he met Robin Hood and he goes, "Ha ha ha, I laugh in the face of evil," and the Doctor goes, "Oh, has anyone ever punched you?" And he goes, "No, good job I'm here then." But I always found Peter Capaldi's episodes to be at the time some of the worst ones, story wise. But now I've seen Jodie Whittaker's series for perfection, the classics.
Yeah.
In comparison,
I felt you know, like after the success of Matt Smith's seasons that Capaldi was, you know, like story wise it was going downhill.
Well, I found to be one of the best episodes in Doctor Who. One of the best, not the best. I don't remember what it was called. Shame Brian's not here. We'll call him Ninja Brian henceforth. Hey, Ninja Brian. Fantastic. There was an episode where he was stuck inside the... it's like a Time Lord prison.
Oh,
and he's
are you talking about Hellbent? Yeah.
And he's repeating the same day over and over again, just punching this wall.
There's two episodes in that series, Hellbent and Heaven Sent, and I think it's Hellbent you're talking about.
One where he's stuck inside his pocket watch.
He's recreating, and he's recreating himself every single day, and They use the. I believe it's a story from the Brothers Grimm at the end where he says about the little bird that's sat chiseling away the mountain after the mountain is complete. It takes every 100 years he steps in to chisel away the mountain with his beak, and after the mountain is completely chiseled away, then 1 second of eternity would have passed.
I found that it's such a beautiful episode. The best Doctor Who episodes are the simplest ones. Mm-hmm. I mean, you get Jodie Whittaker's episodes which are just too simple. Anyway, let's not get into that. So basically, it's sort of same thing like we did with Brian last week. How did you get into Doctor Who?
Well, I watched some of the older before the reboot.
So you're it wasn't a reboot. When I was younger, it wasn't a reboot.
Okay,
we call it New Who.
All right, New Who then. I watched some of the older Who. Not actively as it was coming out, but reruns of the show. Yeah. When I was younger,
like Gold.
You know, my mum's a big Whovian. She's been watching it since 1963.
How old's your mum?
She's old.
Should get her on the show.
I probably should, but it's logistics. I don't think we'd be able to get her here.
We'll go there.
Maybe we could have a call in. Like as a special calling guest. Like,
how local is she?
60 miles east coast. So it'd take
get a train.
We get a train there. Fair enough.
You think I'm joking? I'm absolutely serious.
after that, you know, obviously I saw the first few episodes because, you know, my mum wanted to watch it, you know, like when it was regened.
Yeah.
I saw the first few episodes, and to be fair, I think Billy Piper really ruined it for me. I think in previous episodes of Whovie and the Whoniverse, I've talked about my dislike for Billy Piper's character.
It comes up every episode, Lewis.
Yeah, it really
It came
does.
up for last week's episode. He wasn't even
It probably
here.
did. Oh, did it? You know, like, oh, Lewis hates Rose Tyler. But I didn't like. I didn't like at first, you know, like how cheap it looked. You know, like I think one of the episodes that put me off mostly was the one where they're being chased by mannequins.
That was the first one.
Yeah. So I remember watching a couple of episodes after that, but then, sort of putting it on the shelf at that point. It wasn't until a good number of years
That's where Mannequin
later.
belongs.
So that was 2005, was it?
2005 is when it launched.
2005. I think it was around about 2013 when I got back into it.
Really?
So I picked it up in Matt Smith's episodes, and this is probably why Matt Smith's my doctor. You know, I picked it up at the start of at the start of Matt Smith. So I never experienced Tennant as the Doctor until, you know, having gone back over his material. And it was one of my friends that actually had showed me.
Did you say 2013 or 2010?
About 2013, 2014, something.
2013 was halfway through Matt Smith's era.
Was it?
Yeah, Matt Smith finished around 2015. Matt Smith came into being a Doctor in 2010.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe we'd watched his seasons from the beginning.
Because other than Eccleston, each Doctor was a Doctor for 3 series.
Yeah.
So David Tennant's 2006, 7, 7, 8, 9, 2007, 2008, 2009.
So there was a break between the initial and
then Matt Smith was 2010, 11, 12, and then that's when Capaldi came in, and then now Jodie Whittaker.
Capaldi came in 12. I definitely remember Capaldi coming in. And I don't think I was watching it in 12. It's possible I was watching it in 12, but I definitely remember watching the.
It's because the It's for Doctor Twitter account.
Yeah.
Was started because Matt Smith was stuck in with Pandorica. This is when I made the account, and the only reason I made it was because I thought, well, he's going to be stuck in there for a long time. He'll need something to do. So the Twitter account originally started as, well, what's he doing inside the Pandorica right now? He's got nothing better to do than to be on Twitter. So then there was like, one of the tweets were, I've got an itchy nose, but I can't itch it.
Excellent.
And then it went viral, and that's how it became a thing. But yeah, that was in 2010, and that was his first series.
Yeah, right, okay. I will have to have a look at it.
Yeah, but there may have been like a hiatus, because it did go a bit longer, because at one point they did have a break.
Yeah,
they did have a long season break, as we're like changing writers and stuff. It's been the breaks in Doctor Who have been getting longer and longer, but I think that's because you remember we discussed the splitting the seasons of immersion. Yeah. But that's how you got into Doctor Who, basically.
A friend of mine really got me into it. You know, like I don't know. I fell in love with Smith's Doctor, and the rest is history. Been watching it since.
It's beautiful. I mean, I discussed. Like, did you listen to last week's?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I listened to last week's.
I did mention it last week, but briefly going over, like, the TARDIS popped up on the screen. The TARDIS is everywhere at this point, but hang on, Charity's coming. Hey, Charity.
Are you guys okay?
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah.
Are you good?
We're recording a podcast.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to be a guest star?
No, I'm okay.
All right, fair enough.
If you need anybody, there's people downstairs. Remember the building shuts. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, stop, okay.
And that was Charity, our team leader.
Nice podcast.
You're on the recording now?
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, did I interrupt it?
You're on the podcast?
Yeah, but you're going to be on the podcast now.
Hi, guys.
Do you watch Doctor Who?
No, my dad used to.
Who's your favourite Doctor? Everyone's seen Doctor Who. I don't believe
Yeah, you've got to have a favourite Doctor.
I can't remember. I haven't watched a lot of the older ones.
The older ones.
Well, there's the newer ones as well,
Yeah.
from 2005 onwards.
Okay, so from what I've seen,
Yeah.
David Tennant, and that's only because I can't remember any of the oldie ones.
Ooh.
Alonzi.
Any other questions before I go?
No.
No,
Sure.
that's it.
Well, thank you for having me today. I've really enjoyed it. And if you want to ask me any questions on Star Wars, I am your girl. See you later, bye.
See ya.
Yeah.
And that was Charity, our team leader. Yeah, we should probably tell our managers when we're doing podcasts.
We probably should, yeah,
Yeah.
as they're all dealt with out of our office in the
Yeah.
meeting room.
But before I was rudely interrupted, like, so we had this the trailer for a bit, like, knew who was coming on TV, like, it was a TARDIS popping on the screen, like, I don't know what that is, like, Grandma, what's that blue thing? And it's like, Jam, that's a TARDIS. I'm like, WTF? What's the TARDIS? Like, Doctor Who, and at that point, so it's like, what do you mean, Doctor Who? What's his name then? It's like, and she's like, Doctor Who. I'm like, yeah. So I watched it, and I fell in love with Christopher Eccleston's Doctor. Absolutely amazing. And then he would, bear in mind, this is like before our internet, didn't have access to like magazines or newspapers, because...
So you'd never heard of anything from from the history of Who, so...
No, I wasn't really aware of anything before that. So I watched that, and then that was in 2005, and then so he left, and there was a massive thing about, oh, David Tennant's going on, I'm like, who the hell's he, and like, and then eventually came on, I missed the first bunch of episodes, because bearing in mind, like, there's no internet at this point, so keeping up to date with, like, anything...
Wait, there was no internet, or you didn't have the internet?
I didn't have internet.
Yeah.
Shut up, Lewis.
I can remember having the internet from around about, don't quote me on this, but maybe 99, 2000, something like that.
Rich people problems, guys. You know, you got rich people problems when you talk about 99 minutes. It was so slow. At least you had it.
Yeah,
but
exactly,
yeah. So I didn't have access to any of that information. So
well, even if you had access, it would have been frustratingly slow, and you wouldn't have been able to watch anything anyway.
First world problems.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
yeah, so when Tennant Lynch first came back around, I wasn't able to watch it religiously. I didn't watch a lot of TV. I was a massive gamer.
Yeah.
So I missed trailers or any news on it, or, and the such. Didn't have money to buy in Radio Times or anything, so I relied on the Metro. But even then, you had to get on the bus really early to get the Metro, so I often missed out on the Metro. And I only got the Metro to look at the TV schedule for that week. Good old days. But no, so basically I watched that, and then that's how I fell out of it as well. I didn't get back into Doctor Who until it's about 2009. There were so many, like, there's these YouTubers called Alex Day, Chris, what's his name? Chris O'Donnell. No, not Chris O'Donnell. Something. Charlie McDonald. Because he's got some Charlie is so cool. Like, yeah, Charlie is so cool, like, YouTube channel. And we created this, always talked about Doctor Who to the point where we created a band called Chameleon Circuit. And the first album was called Still Got Legs, which was David Tennant's first line. It's like, you got him still got legs. Yeah. And it's called Chameleon Circuit because that's what's broken in the TARDIS. That stops it, It's always blue.
It's always
police
blue,
box,
it's always the police box.
Imagine if they fixed that. People would hate the show.
Yeah, I mean, we have had slight variations in TARDIS, like over the course of Doctor Who.
Well,
like
this isn't the same TARDIS. His original TARDIS,
Yeah.
Clara Oswald's got it.
Clara Oswald has the... I remember.
She's flying around in a restaurant,
Yeah.
in a cafe.
Yeah.
See, but he doesn't even know who Clara is anymore.
No.
I wish I could forget about her.
I don't think Clara was that bad of
On the back of Rory and Amy, she felt so forced.
Yeah, okay, but you're comparing them to the you're comparing her to the power couple, and everybody loved Rory and Amy.
You know who should have been a companion? I feel drunk. You know who should have been a companion? In the time of the Doctor was that lass with the glasses on the scarf.
Ah, yeah.
She would have been amazing. I want to know what her backstory...
Oswald, is she called, or something?
No, that's
like
Clara.
That. No, it's Oswin. That's it.
She would have been the ultimate companion. Like, she's
Yeah.
already a fan of the Doctor, been following his work for years. So suddenly, he doesn't have to explain himself. Like, it's Doctor. Oh, it's big on the inside.
Well, yeah.
Don't worry, I know.
But isn't that the whole charm of it? I saw the episode that I was talking about yesterday. The Capaldi's Maiden episode. one of the people that he rescues from. No, this is the second episode. Sorry, of Capaldi's. He rescues a person from outer space. It's to do with going into a Dalek. To operate from the inside. No idea why, but I didn't finish the whole episode.
Yeah.
So, basically, in that episode, he rescues someone just before the ship explodes, and instead of going into the TARDIS, she comes out of the TARDIS, and she goes, "Wait, but it's smaller on the outside." He goes, "Yep, usually happens the other way around."
But when I was watching his YouTube videos, I got introduced to his band. That's what got me back into Doctor Who. So I saw Tennant's later episodes, so I missed out on Blink and such.
Yeah.
So his classic. Blink is like the highest viewed Doctor Who episode.
Is it? How many
ever.
views it get?
It's got like 12 or 13 million.
Right. Is that including Classic Who then?
That's including Classic Who.
Oh, shit.
Highest of all time.
Yeah.
He holds that record, and I don't think it will ever get beat. Not in current
Climate. Yeah.
where we can't even hit double digits anymore. Approaching 5 million instead of the usual. Because Tennant's episodes, they consistently hit 10 million every single time.
Yeah.
But so that's how I got back into Doctor Who. I saw the last couple episodes. I saw the Christmas episodes, by the way. Never missed one of those.
Oh yeah.
But I got fully back into Doctor Who.
Well, what else are you going to do on Christmas Day, really?
Yeah, exactly. But then I got fully back into Doctor Who with Matt Smith. Fell in love with him.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was just, I was enthralled. It's probably actually my favourite Doctor. I met my wife through him, to the point where it says Geronimo.
Wait, Matt Smith introduced you to your wife?
I created my Twitter account, and I met my wife through that Twitter account, which wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Matt Smith's Doctor. Yeah. So I actually owe a lot to it. It's absolutely. It probably is like Eccleston will always be my Doctor.
Yeah.
But Matt Smith is probably my favourite Doctor.
Yeah.
As a result, it's got the best stories, got the best acting.
Definitely.
He cried a lot on set, by the way.
Did he? Yeah, I've heard of a few occasions on which he'd cried. But
yeah. I actually forgot. I was supposed to get a speech off you this week.
Oh,
That's what we were supposed to do, but I completely forgot.
I've I completely failed to prepare, and then
it's fine. When
didn't think that you'd ask for it.
You did message me yesterday saying, what homework do we have for the podcast?
Yeah,
and
I would have done it
myself.
there and then if,
Yeah, no, it's not a problem. But yeah, that's basically how I got back into Doctor Who, and I'm glad I did. I'm never going back. No matter how bad it gets, I'll stand by you. But Jodie Whittaker's she's so good. It's just.
I don't think it's her as a Doctor. Yeah,
the BBC never fail at picking great, amazing actors.
I think it largely due to the writing. My.
It's not the writing; it's the showrunner. He has to sign off on every single story. And they write multiple stories. Yeah. And only half those get made.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely crazy.
It'd be interesting to see the ones that didn't make the cut as well. Here's a binder of what we had. Just print them online or something like that.
Well, a lot of them get turned into Big Finish stories, or you get the likes of Cricket Man, Scratch Man. No, not Scratch Man, Stitch Man, written by Tom Baker, which was going to be a film, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think we've got enough. So we move on to Who News.
Who News?
Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. Who News?
Who News?
First, David Tennant is set to co-host Comic Relief this year. I really hope he does another Catherine Tate special.
Yeah.
Are you the Doctor? Ivor. My Facebook. No, I'm your Scottish teacher. So what do you think of that? David Tennant.
Well,
it'd be nice if Matt Smith was there as well. It'd
be nice to see, like a good few Doctors just getting involved. Like maybe even some of the older guys. But yeah, I definitely, if you're going to have comic relief, like to have one of the old Doctors pop up, and especially the likes of Tennant.
I mean, Doctor Who is pretty much synonymous with children in need and comic relief. We're synonymous. Definitely. It's like I'll be honest, I watch it for the Doctor Who section.
I mean, there have been
and because I feel like I owe money, I usually donate £10 on the back of I feel like I owe you money now because it's so amazing.
Well, there was the comic relief special with Rowan Atkinson as the Doctor in one of them. Was he the Doctor or the Master? He was the Doctor, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the Doctor.
In that
there was also a lady Doctor in one of the specials as well, where it regenerated into a woman. That was the first ever example of it. Yeah, it wasn't canon, and people were like, that would never happen. Haha, it's so funny. He turned into a woman. Not laughing now, are they?
They really aren't. No.
To sort of break up the series, and I'm wondering if they do this proper full. They're doing a virtual reality Doctor Who episode.
Really?
Yeah.
It's sort of like the way they dealt Black Mirror and that.
From what I've gathered, you're the companion, and you're looking through the eyes of a companion, following the Doctor on an adventure in virtual reality. How amazing does that sound?
I want to go out and buy Oculus Rift right now.
Yeah, there's no. I've done a bit of research. All I've said is that it's being developed.
Yeah.
It'll be out this year.
Okay.
But there's there's nothing noted on how it's going to be released. So a lot of they've done some virtual reality where you sort of the TARDIS flying through the vortex, whatever it's called, and that was only available on iPlayer.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this will be similar.
Yeah. I want to know if you can influence the outcome of the episode. You know, so the say 6 intermingling storylines whereby.
Oh, I doubt it. I think it's just going to be
linear,
sort of
very linear. Yeah.
It's going to be a roller coaster. You're just going to experience the episode. The exact word I'm using is it's an experience rather than it's not a game. It's just virtual reality. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that's going to be awesome.
That will be excellent.
I forgive you for not breaking up the series again.
Yeah.
Give me more of this.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, it might take off, and we may end up with more of this in the future. Yeah.
There's another headline that I actually forgot to put on yours.
Did you? What's this?
As part of the BBC's 10 seasons, have you heard of 10 seasons?
No.
10 seasons is basically an education project where they try to educate kids. Basically, it gets incorporated in school curriculums on classical music.
Yeah.
So, as part of BBC's 10 seasons, the Doctor Who theme is set to be included within classical studies as evidence that it is an ever-evolving art form not limited by age.
Nice.
So, Doctor Who is considered classical now.
Yeah.
But more to the point, classical is no longer bound by, it's just really old.
Well, it has got some weird little bits in there. The theme tune to Doctor Who, doesn't it? It's it's. I have no idea what the instrument's called, but I'm sure if I had my friend Louis here, he'd be able to tell me straight away.
Is he a Whovian?
He isn't a Whovian.
It's him who called you though, Louis.
He's the one who called me. So having him on the show would be worthless, really. You know, other than.
I have written. It's basically I've structured the show so that anybody can listen to it or take part in it, having nothing, because everyone's seen one episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone's got a favourite episode, so we've automatically got something to talk about.
You do, you know. It's so far embedded. Doctor Who is so far embedded in British culture that you find that regardless of who you are, you're going to know who the Doctor is. You're probably going to know, what the TARDIS looks like, unless you're Jamie at age. What age was it?
It was 14.
14. Okay, that's much later than I thought it was, Jamie.
It was 2014. No, 2004. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I knew it was. I recognised it. It's just it wasn't like it wasn't there.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, you are going to realise these things, so you can take part in a discussion, even if it's just to say as much as, like the blue box he flies around in, or an individual Doctor such as Matt Smith, David Tennant.
Now, something very, very important I've been wanting to ask you,
and that is
so Who News.
Yeah.
So Brian's getting his own section.
Oh yeah.
Called History Lesson. He's working on that as we speak, creating a structure, how he wants to do it. Been trying to think of something for you to be more involved in writing the podcast, mainly so there's less work for me to do. I figured if everyone does their own little section, it makes it a much easier job.
Yeah.
How would you like to?
Well, I said to you more recently that I'm good with the research, so I do the research on Who News and this sort of thing. If that's what you wanted me to do.
Yeah. So next week, you're reading the Who News, not me.
I'm reading.
I'm reacting.
Okay. So yeah, I'm looking. Am I doing the research and reading out the news?
Yeah,
So
basically.
You're the one going, no way.
I'm going, what?
What? Really?
I'm looking forward to next week when I'm not. Everything's.
You're not in the know.
I'm not going to look up. I'm not even going to research Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Unless it pops up on like new series launch. Like, okay, I have to talk about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be really interesting for me. Like, I love being on the receiving end of knowledge.
Yeah.
So it's going to be quite beautiful. So yeah, you can rename it, give it its own theme song, so it's no longer going to be.
I think I'm going to have to do that. I need to make it my own, don't I?
Yeah, I mean, it's the only. There's only 2 sections in the show with a theme tune: Who News and Whoniverse Heart Crash. Whoniverse Heart Crash is a real music.
Unfortunately, that's been on hiatus for the last week, and
I know.
And again,
Hopefully next week it'll be fine.
Well, Bri's going to be here next week, so
Are you going to be here?
I am going to be here next week. Yes.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if there's any issues, like if you want to record it a bit earlier, like on a Thursday,
yeah,
that's easy for you. You just let me know, okay?
Okay.
Well, all right, that brings us on to our next subject: voting in the TARDIS, which is a working title, by the way, as is every other section. So it was best British, shall we say, science fiction show.
Okay.
The Tripods, suggested by Bri,
Yeah.
Historian, Red Dwarf,
Excellent.
Thunderbirds,
Yeah.
and Misfits.
Oh, yeah, I remember Misfits.
Misfits was amazing.
It wasn't bad at all,
Yeah. Now, who would you have voted for?
I would have probably gone Red Dwarf just because, I've seen it all, loved it all.
It's probably the most well-known of the bunch as well.
And again, something that it was actually made on a shoestring budget initially, and that's why it's so tacky. When you look at the Starbug or the Red Dwarf,
It's very similar to Doctor Who in that aspect as well.
Exactly. I think we have a great tradition of tacky,
I think
tacky looking
that's
sci-fi.
just BBC. Actually, BBC don't do it. It's ITV now, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Dwarf, I think the Dwarf.
But as well, another similarity as with Doctor Who is that it went away for a decent amount of time and came back. For I believe it was season 9 it came back on. Maybe earlier. I'm not too sure.
It's never actually. When I was looking the shop, it's never ran for 2 consecutive years in a row. So it's always had some sort of hiatus. Yeah. Personally, Red Dwarf again for myself. We've got some comments from people.
Mm-hmm.
Jamal J said Torchwood. That's the entire tweet.
Excellent.
At DJ Kirtle, watched Tripods before I even knew what Doctor Who was.
Mm-hmm.
Nameless Guru said, come on people, Dwarf was good, but a stand-up show. Misfits was awesomeness on another level.
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree, Misfits had high production value, and it was probably the most recent form of science fiction in British TV. In popular, it was always something more recent.
But I mean, Misfits as well. It was.
We get hit by a lightning, we get superpowers.
Yeah, exactly. It was more to do with the superpowers than any science fiction. There was time travel in it, I believe. I saw quite a bit of it. I didn't see it all.
I mean, it's quite obvious which one came first. Red Dwarf.
Yeah, 100%.
Which do you think came second?
I would reckon Torchwood would have come second in this one.
Yeah, Torchwood isn't an option, Lewis.
Oh, right, okay.
Torchwood isn't an option, so it can't come second.
Yeah, okay. Let's have a look here. It was obviously Misfits then, if that's the case.
Yes, it was Misfits. Red Dwarf, 50% of the votes. Misfits, 32%.
I would have expected Thunderbirds to have pulled higher just because...
Thunderbirds only got 13%.
Did it?
Tripods, 5%.
We
got about 400 votes.
Yeah.
In fact, the voting wasn't actually finished as of now. So the votings are probably a little bit higher. But the difference between the first and the second is so drastic, I would not expect it to catch up.
Yeah.
What we
can always update them next week if it does. But
yeah, of course. And what we're thinking for next week's poll.
Next week's poll. So I think I suggested earlier the best sci-fi book. I would have definitely put.
So we're just going by book.
Yeah. However, I believe you're more into saying the best adaptation. Is it?
Well, I was thinking, with it being a Doctor Who podcast, we're more used to like a visual media, and a lot of our listeners aren't necessarily readers.
Yeah.
We can go book. It's your choice. It's your turn. Brian chose the previous one. I chose this one.
Yeah.
So it's completely your choice.
I
we
would
go book. I was thinking book adaptation to a film or TV. We can do book. Film adaptation and TV adaptation another week as well.
Yeah, I think we should do them as two separate, because you know which I believe I've made my point on which one I'd vote for if it was the case we were doing this, and I'd rather have this one in both TV and film and film. So I don't think it'd be fair to put it in twice if you were doing it all as a oneer. So
I think we could do one and then leave it a couple of weeks and come back to it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, what poll do you want?
Yeah, we'll go for the best adaptation into film.
Into film.
Yeah.
So, what options shall we have? So,
we definitely have to have Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Even though I believe that the film version wasn't as good as the series.
The film version was my introduction. Was my introduction to Martin Freeman.
Your introduction.
Yeah. He moans in all of his films, I've noticed. He's just a complainer. He's really good at complaining. He's British, so... Yeah.
Wait, Martin Freeman being Arthur Dent's character,
Yeah.
Arthur Dent, brilliant name for a character,
Yeah.
And the one other character that you've got to really give it up for, and he's not in it for much of it, but you got Slatty Bartfast, which sounds like the rudest thing ever, Right, so other than that, we need 3 more options.
War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds is a good one, yeah. But wasn't that radio? I suppose we didn't say from what medium to what medium. It was originally broadcast on the radio.
I can do some further, because I think we'd rather it was a book first before anything else.
Yeah.
But I could have sworn War of the Worlds was then adapted for
literature.
No, I think War of the Worlds was literature and adapted for the radio.
Was it? I always thought it was radio adapted for
that's probably one of the most famous ones where people thought it was actually happening.
Yeah, I remember. I remember hearing about that. I was like, how could you actually think that? Well, but I mean, the way it was broadcast as well, there was no introduction to it, anything like that.
It was introduced. People just tuned in halfway through.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll look into that one. War of the Worlds. Time Machine will be a good one as well.
Yeah, definitely the Time Machine. But we've had a lot on the Time Machine though. So let's have a...
And we don't want any obvious winners. I want it.
Yeah, you want it to.
There's been too many landslides lately, like Red Dwarf 50%.
Sort of an equal field, that sort of thing.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the Time Machine.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it.
So it's a difficult one.
Biscuits.
Biscuits.
I really can't think of anything. This is definitely one that will be a poll up. I'm going to do some research on it. I guess we'll
think of the last sci-fi book that's been...
Yeah, but that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a book adaptation into film. Film adaptation from a book. I'll phrase it better in the tweet.
Yeah.
So, next one is...
I suppose you could say The Watchmen is sci-fi in a way, like the technology in it, but it's more post-apocalyptic.
But then at that point, when do we draw the line? So then we could just go, any Batman book.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I think we're stuck to non-comics, I guess.
Yeah.
We could do comics another time, though.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So we'll move on from that. Otherwise, we'll just go around in circles. That's what I say to a lot of people in my place of work. Who working title, and it will be a defunct. What do you call it? It's going to be a defunct section of a show. Mm-hmm. What were your opinions of episode 3 of Class?
I thought that this episode was the worst in the bunch. Honestly, no. I've fallen away from it a little bit with this episode. the enemy could have been done so much better. What was the name of the enemy? Do we know, or have we again forgotten to do the research on this? It was some sort of tentacle creature from beyond the rift, and I wanted to address as well the Ram and April, the kiss. What was that all about? They don't seem to be that close, and then all of a sudden it was just.
I think they're going to break up later on. But that is just a thought. They're just creating tension for later on. So we're going to have a little fight, and we're going to split up the band, and that might even be how the series ends. But I think we're just seeding a conflict later on.
Yeah. But we haven't seen any of that build on screen, like Ram and April's interactions before that just weren't, they weren't of an interested nature, and then all of a sudden, maybe it's just two people in a very sort of in a very tense situation just coming together, but I just didn't think that it justified it,
So you didn't like it?
I didn't like.
I loved
episode,
it.
No.
I really loved the. It's like a sort of horror feel. It's like really creepy and like the blinking of the eye. Like,
yeah.
It's what the blink. And it's like, oh, it's so creepy. And then she's like looking at the camera and suddenly like flashes and she's right in your face with the music. It made me jump out of my seat on the bus. Well, not the bus, the train. I'm not a peasant. I'm kidding. A train is like a peasant train. It's like a peasant snake. I hate public transport. Anyway, but no, it made me jump. I really enjoyed the episode. It was in every series of Doctor Who, there's always a haunted episode, like the scary episode, the one that's just there to spook you ever so slightly. And this was that episode in class, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I know that much. I thought that it was a good idea. The enemy was a good idea. Having their loved ones come back to haunt them in that way. But I just thought that it could have been done differently. And
I also found it really clever how they what's the word? 'Cause obviously there's no violence in Doctor Who, so they always have to outsmart the enemy.
Yeah.
And I'm always interested in how are we going to outsmart the enemy this time? Like, I'm going to poison it.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking these kids are really bloody clever.
That was probably the saviour of the episode, if anything. I did enjoy that part of the episode. I thought that was that was the interesting point in it. But as I say, I felt like it was just too thrown together. And
the writer of that episode, I forget his name, was going to be one of the showrunners of Doctor Who at one point, but Chris Chibnall got the job instead. Spilt coffee down yourself.
Yeah, I know.
It's because you're drinking out of a TARDIS mug and it's a square.
It's a square. How do you manage
from
to
the
drink?
corners like a jug?
Yeah, I know, but how are you meant to drink from this thing, especially when you get?
I think if you hold it like that,
you just have to throw it up in the air and catch it in your mouth.
But because I know we're strapped for time because I need to get back to I don't think it's the best episode of the bunch. I think the coach with a dragon tattoo.
That was definitely.
That was my favourite episode. It was like the saviour. I don't think this episode is as bad as the first one. You think it's worse?
I think it's worse. Yeah.
My God.
I know.
So if you were to give this episode a rating, just so you guys know, we're not always going to go out of 10. I'm trying to think of a quirky Doctor Who version of rating, like how many warps? 3 out of 5, Jamie. But that's still in the works. We probably won't have anything till history lesson with Brian.
So I'd give it a 2. I honestly didn't like this one.
I give it 7 warps. That's 7 warps. I really loved it. It's absolutely amazing. I think I love a good spooky episode. I'm looking forward to what's going to come next. The acting was top notch. There was a little bit of seeding. What's that last called? The teacher.
Miss Quill.
And she got a gun at the end.
Yeah.
So she's got a gun again.
Yeah, foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadow. It's Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's gun.
Yeah. It's everything's there for a reason, basically.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell my wife. Like, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Like, what do you mean? Someone's going to shoot that gun and we're going to kill someone. I'm like, how could you possibly know? Everything's there for a reason. But wouldn't have shown you it if it weren't going to use it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's called seeding.
Yeah.
So that's Who We Who. which doesn't have a theme song. So now we're going to move on to Whoniverse or Hogwash. Whoniverse or Hogwash, Whoniverse or Hogwash, is it real, is it fake? It's cancelled, well. It's cancelled for this week. No, Whoniverse or Hogwash this week, guys, but hopefully next week. I've got some killer cues, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I've put in a lot of work. The most amount of work I put into this section, and I'm having to wait 2 weeks 3 weeks actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
To actually do it. So
Definitely, yeah.
It's very frustrating.
I suppose you've had 3 weeks worth of material, or 3 weeks worth of time to put the material
You'd
together.
think that, but I did it in one day. But it took me 2 hours to write.
Yeah.
It's probably the most time-consuming part of the show, which is why I appreciate the fact that you're going to do Who News, and once we finish with class, Brian's going to take over Who v Who, which is going to be renamed Who's for Your Lesson Now. But it's up to him. It's his show.
Yeah.
And you'll rename. You make it your own section. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the show. Do you want to do a shout outs at the end?
Yeah, okay, so we've got a shout out to Zitfarm for designing the logo.
Be sure to check her DeviantArt. Can I just say, Zitfarm, again, like, are you okay? Do you need help? We're here for you. I mean, do you work at doctors? Do you pop them? I mean, keep them in a jar and grow new zits at home? I don't know. Tell me.
That's a little disturbing. But
well, you can tweet us on Whoniverse on Twitter. I just really want to know. It's a zit farm. How do you even come up with that? You've been listening to Ninja Brian. Hey, Ninja Brian.
Lewis.
And myself, Jamie. Have a week!